Last year, on the 9th of October, I started my book writing journey. On the 6th of March this year, I ordered my first physical proofreading copy with a sample cover. And tomorrow is the official release date of my debut book. Like, that means I can now add published author to my bio next to leadership and mindset coach and the host of this podcast. So, hi, hello, and welcome. Right now, this book is still available for pre order. So, if you want to grab it, this one right here, obviously without this line here, and secure yourself also a bonus training series, then you got to do so before midnight because the pre-sale ends tomorrow with the official release. And if you want to celebrate with me, then make sure to also stalk me on my Instagram tomorrow, as I will do a live celebration and also give away another signed printed copy of the book to one lucky person. Anywho, what has been an idea literally living in my head for decades finally came to life in less than a year, actually, like 6 months. So, in this episode, I want to share with you a little more about how we got to this point because writing a book was always a childhood dream. I think the first time I remember thinking about this was around the age of 13, 14, maybe. Like, I used to love books, especially Harry Potter, obviously, and was fairly good at writing stories. And I thought, why not? But back then, it was quickly shut down by others, specifically a teacher who said, "You're too young, like, you don't know nothing about writing." And I was like, okay, cool, then I don't do it. And then as I grew older, judgment and fear of what others might think about my writing crept in as well. And like, it didn't seem like I was made to write a book, to put it blunt. So I kept putting the idea on the back burner, even though I still love to write. Then again, at the age of like 18, 19, I wanted to start a lifestyle blog, and I did. I was putting out some posts about anything that was of interest to me. So sometimes I would just be thoughts about life, oops, or fashion, or skincare, or baking recipes, and even landed like a mini collaboration to test out some bakery utensils to make cake pops and write a post about it. But the comments of others in my immediate surroundings, including my now ex, really got to me. So they said things like, no one's going to read this, like, it's boring, no one cares, like, why should they even care, like, everybody is doing this. So after only like a couple of months of having my blog, I just stopped. And bear in mind, like, this was the height of blogs. They were really like a big thing. Like, I'm still following many influencers who started off with blogs and now turned that into amazing multiple businesses. So sometimes I do wonder, like, every now and then, what would have happened if I didn't stop back then, because that's like so long ago, like if I would have kept going back then already. But back then I didn't know better, so I silenced my dreams of writing for actually several years, not even daring to think about starting a blog ever again, let alone writing a book. And whenever I heard from like authors my age, like my young age, I would feel a little pinch in my stomach, but was quick to just like suppress it and be like, no, I'm not cut out for this. That's at least what I thought. And only when I then started taking my personal growth journey to the next level did I allow this dream to really bubble up to the surface again. So I slowly welcomed the idea back in, familiarized myself with it. But it still took me another couple of years, like working on myself and healing until I was ready to give, first of all, being on social media and having a blog another shot. And then this time, I swore myself I will stick to it, despite what anyone would say. And I did. This time, I really persevered through the negative comments from others, and I kept my Instagram and blog up and running. And then from there, the journey really accelerated, like a snowball rolling down a hill. So I started writing regularly and I fell back in love with it. And I also worked with a coach actually to help me work through some of my limiting beliefs around writing a book. And he helped me to really bring to surface some old, stuck, limiting beliefs around not feeling worthy to share my story and feeling like it would never be good enough. And what really hit home to me was shifting my perspective from writing the book for others to simply writing it for myself. And it helped me to get clear my why for the book. So of course I wanted to like others to read it because I knew it can help them. But it first of all was for me. Though it still took a while for me to work through all of that. And I had actually like a different initial book idea before, but kind of like fell out of love with it again because something just didn't feel right. And I have to admit, like it almost caused me to fall back into like old habits and patterns, but I kept on rinsing and repeating the same process of releasing the self sabotaging thoughts, stepping into my best self, and deciding on what needs to be done based on where I want to be, and to then just do it. So, if you want to know actually like exactly what I did, I highly recommend you to download my free guide, Be the Hero of Your Own Story Again. It's in the description box below. Because doing this really helped me to get writing every single day again. And when then the new idea for my book hit me, there was no stopping. I got to work. I knew I couldn't ignore it any longer, and I had to just follow through for my own sake because I knew otherwise I would absolutely regret not going for it. So I set up my writing practice, got a handful of beta readers on board who kindly supported me throughout the process and provided feedback as I went. And 40 pure writing days later, like excluding weekends, I had my first manuscript. It wasn't perfect and it was flooded with grammar and especially comma mistakes, but it was done. I had written 50,000, over 50,000 words and roughly 200 pages about something I'm so deeply passionate about: how to path your own way, bridge the gap between your current and best self, and live life according to your rules, not anyone else's. So, this book really entails everything I know that helped me to again and again choose to go my own path. And yes, sometimes it took me longer. That's fine. That's just life. But I know if I would have had this book at the age of like 13 or 18, I wouldn't have stopped writing on my first sci-fi book idea or the blog. I would have kept going. So the book really is a first-hand reminder also for myself that I can do tough shit and that my purpose here is to help others to do the same, but do it their way. So yeah, after the first manuscript was finished, I got to do the editing, and oh my god, that part was definitely harder than the writing itself. But I hired an editor who did an amazing job, and to really bring my book to the next level. And I got to work with the cover design. I binge watched countless of videos and trainings about how to self-publish and how to correctly format a book. And it really kept on going. And like now here we are. The book is released tomorrow. I am a published fucking author now. Like, can you believe it? If I were to describe like how this feels in one word, it would just be proud. I feel so damn proud. And to also celebrate this milestone a little bit, I want to actually read you a small passage from the book. So here she is, my lovely little baby. This, like, again, if you order a copy, this will not be on your book. You will just see the wonderful, lovely cover. And yeah, that's the interior. Da-da-da. But yeah, I want to read to you from chapter 13 a little bit, which is all about the commitment to your best self, because that's quite literally the most important promise you can make. So, we often think that we are the only ones who struggle with burnout, negative self talk, procrastination, imposter syndrome, and more, especially now that we spend even more time in our own four walls and less in actual companionship with others. This leads to a tunnel vision that can cause us to feel lonely and misunderstood. If this is paired with being hijacked by saboteurs, it is even more difficult to collect the proof of your magnificence and capability. I hope that this book has taught you so far the ins and outs of what it takes to work yourself through that low and realize your potential and overcome any challenges or limits you endure. So, in the last chapter, you began creating a list of accomplishments. This is also a list of proof that you absolutely can do the things you long for. The desires that you have are here for a reason. They are here because you are meant to follow them. And they can be so uniquely different from person to person, but they all stem from this deep wish of creating something meaningful in this one life that we have. The only true lesson we need to learn is to follow this calling. For some, this might be entrepreneurship. For others, it is climbing the corporate ladder. Some may want to be the best mum ever. Others long to travel and tell stories of the world. Or it might even be a combination of all of these. Heck, it could even be that it changes throughout your life, and that is okay too. Whatever it is that your dream is, go after it, give it a try, and make some awesome shit happen. I want to point out that if someone else did it, then it doesn't take anything away from your ability to do it. On the contrary, the fact that you know that it is possible for someone else is another proof to be added to your list that you can do it too. You notice other people acing at their life because you were always meant to do the same. As you shift your mindset with all the exercises in this book, you will learn to look at this world and others from a place of abundance rather than a place of lack. Simply because someone else got a slice of a cake, it doesn't mean that you can't have one yourself. The cake is infinite, and you choose which one you have and how much of it. So take all of the examples of incredible transformations in this book and around you as a sign that you will be the next to accomplish great things. So, with this, my dear, it is now time to take a step towards your new reality. You have set your SMART goal, you know the minimum viable product that you want to achieve, and you know exactly why you want to achieve it and how it will change your life. You've also learned tips and tricks as to how you can hold yourself accountable when we explored habits and actions. You now know how your saboteurs might try to hold you back and continue watching from the sidelines, but you also know your strengths and how to turn any perceived weakness into another strength to help you overcome your self imposed limits. You know how to deal with life when shit hits the fan, and you have proof that incredible change is possible for you too. So, what is left? Committing to yourself. This form of commitment seems to be one of the hardest, for some almost impossible, despite their big dreams and hopes begging them to chase after them. Astonishingly, this also seems to be a lot easier to drop than when it comes to commitment to others. When it comes to actually committing to action and working towards it, people sometimes freeze up and stop. Most of the time, the reason is because the saboteurs want to try everything to keep them from the experience of failure. Any excuse is a welcome loophole that could provide a way out. But giving in to one's excuses is not what creates momentum, and also not what creates amazing shit happen in this world. And I get it. This is due to caring a lot more about what others think of us than we do, even if you don't want to admit it. It is not unusual for humans to put more emphasis on others' opinions. They seek out advice, want to be accepted, and yearn to belong to the group. They do a lot in order to please others' expectations of them, and it's partially due to human nature. Yet, in the instances of living the life you desire to live, this can be of high disservice. It is also a deep rooted social tool issue where you get trained to follow a certain lifestyle, plan, or journey. But this takes away the autonomy to follow your own path and what you are meant to do, as well as your authority in being yourself. Self leadership means that you reclaim that autonomy. It means that you claim your right of leadership over your life back. It means stepping out of the victim mentality, overthinking, self doubt, procrastinating, and working your ass off for others and not yourself. It's about going your way, despite all the odds, to find your way to make it work. Working on yourself and fully committing to yourself allows you to go through a gradual metamorphosis. You will begin to perceive yourself as a driving force behind your own journey, capable of making mindful choices and leading yourself towards your goals. Armed with a newfound confidence and clarity, you will step into self leadership, embracing the role of the author who is shaping your life's narrative the way you want. So let's create a waterproof contract with yourself, free from loopholes. Dropping out of the commitment to yourself from now on simply is not even an option anymore. And that's all that I'm sharing from this chapter. But what I want to ask you at this point, let me ask you this. If you were to make a promise to yourself today, what would it be? And if you couldn't fail, what would you do? If you think you can't get out of the self-doubting or the imposter syndrome cycle, or not feeling good enough, or that you're just not cut out to do it, think again. Start with reigniting this dream or goal of yours and really remind yourself why you want to make this happen so badly. Allow yourself to dream wild, see yourself being successful, and just bathe in that for a bit and see how it feels. Because it's totally possible that this very well will be your day one of a completely different life for you. Just saying. Anyway, if you want to get your mittens on the book, you can still pre order my book until midnight today to also secure yourself some juicy exclusive bonuses. Or you order it first thing tomorrow when it has been officially released. If you fancy, though, a special copy with a personal note from yours truly, then you can do so either via messaging me or checking out my website linked below. But be warned, there are not many copies available anymore. I think like 2 or 3, if I remember correctly. But that's it for today's episode. Do comment below how you like this chapter of the book, how you like the episode, or just hit the like button in general. And of course, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And with that, I wish you a fantastic day and I'll see you again next week, Monday. Bye. We have some drinksies. Have a sip of coffee.